Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the bell, and give me a big thumbs up.
Okay, so today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm on my way to a recording facility from a musician friend of mine who's extremely talented. He's an excellent producer, engineer, songwriter. This is his home-based recording studio, and we're going to see what he uses, how he records, and maybe even listen to a clip of some of what he's recorded. So stick with us. I'll see you on the next one. So here we are, we're almost there. And this is a nice residential area, but I'm sure inside his place is a nice facility. So let's go check it out. Good to see you again, Mr. Goodwin.
Good to see you. You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Come
so
on.
You want to show us the studio?
Come on, let's do
go.
it. Welcome. Our house here is called the Igloo.
Do you know that? Yeah, I was about to say you have the only White House in the whole area.
Yeah, you can see it from the moon. So yeah.
Oh, I like the living room setup.
Yeah,
That's nice.
That piano table was a fun project. Did that during COVID.
Ah, gotcha.
It's acrylic.
That's very, very cool.
Yeah, got it cut out to the exact size. That was a fun one.
Where's the piano board from?
It was from an old broken piano, an upright that a friend had.
What a great idea, though.
I just started taking it apart.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh,
this
gosh.
is so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for
We love
inviting
it.
me.
It's good to
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Hey.
Oh, I love your
She's the mastermind here. That's all Alan.
It's fun.
nice, Alan. Very nice.
Thanks, man.
I like it.
I've been here for about 5.5 years. So this is novel recording.
All right, I'm going to switch over to the Sony
There you
camera.
go. Want me out of the room?
No, not at all. Are you kidding me?
That's sweet. That's really sweet.
I like it.
Welcome to Novel Recording Co.
I like it. Ooh, you did all that, right?
Come on, you know
Very nice. Wow, what a great look.
During COVID, this became...
Okay, this is okay. All right, so this bookshelf little stack is really a diffuser.
Yep.
That is
cool?
such
'Cause
a
the pages,
great idea.
And more importantly, it's it's brand reinforcement because Novel Recording Co. from song to story is
Right.
the idea. We tell stories, not just songs.
Very cool.
But with the pages out, you get the story, but it's also a little bit more sound friendly because of the pages versus the bindings.
What a great idea.
And during COVID, this became a video space for us as well, so I added some lighting. So each of these are on individual switches, and this is electrical rope, so you can raise each one up and down. And
That's
we had
great.
haze in here, we had different heights, and so you can really do anything you want. These are at like third capacity right now, so they can get pretty bright.
Well, you know, there's going to be like people all around the country that are going to want to start doing this.
Come on, right? That's right. My camera guys got tired of bringing in their soft boxes and everything else to film every week.
Too bad
COVID,
you don't just like patent this idea.
Right. So it's all smart home.
So panels for the walls.
Yep, just a little bit.
Which is nice.
Built some bigger ones for the doors.
And then wood paneling.
Yep.
As a back panel. Yeah, I like the bigger screen. I always like the bigger screen for viewing what's being recorded.
This desk is newer. I just built it. I like to have everything that I need. I had a bigger desk that had even more kind of inset flush with it, but this is exactly just the pieces I really need.
Very nice.
A little bit of fader to ride VIs, then a little bit of fader to ride.
Okay, so what is the controller?
So it's a Dofer LMK4, and you can buy it where it's not in a case like this. So it comes as individual pieces that's meant to be mounted into what's called a composer desk, which this is kind of a DIY composer desk.
Very nice. I like it.
And so it's the full Phaetar bed, just like a Nord or anything else.
So what software are you using? Pro X?
Mostly Logic.
Gotcha. Logic Pro X.
But I have Pro Tools for some older sessions, and we use Ableton for a lot of live stuff.
Gotcha.
And then the X Touch works beautifully with either. You have to swap modes.
So the X Touch. Is the X Touch running? Are these the screens for the X10?
No, it's actually all separate. These are just apps on the iPads.
Oh, okay.
So this is just the Logic app. This is actually
So
I had it.
okay, gotcha.
And there's so many apps now. I mean, you name it. I use HomeKit to control the lights, in here, so I can change all the colors and stuff like that. I have an X32 for monitors, so I use it for that. The Dangerous is my monitor controller for the room.
Now your X32 is just an X32 rack, right?
Yeah, just the rack. And then the Dangerous is my monitor controller / summing. And so if I want to switch monitors or do anything like that, there's an app for it. So
what a sweet setup.
It's cool.
This is great, Alan.
Apollo's the brain of everything. So it's just AD, and then there's 8 OK channels from the Focusrite.
So this is a universal audio what?
Yeah, the Apollo X16. So it has no preamps in it. It's just converters.
Oh, gotcha.
And then there's 8 just preamps from this Focusrite. It's not converter.
Gotcha.
And then there's 3 better preamps. These are 1073 style Neve.
Right, gotcha.
And then I have just one channel of a couple compressors.
Okay, do you find much of a difference between the Neve and the Focusrite?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, well, you should. I mean, obviously the price is quite extensive.
Yeah. And then all XLR patch bays in here. I just made a bunch of red and white cables.
Nice, very nice.
So I have everything just kind of run here.
And then, okay, so
and then for headphones, headphone amp, and the X32 does the mixes for it.
X32 rack, yeah, very nice.
So it's a pretty. I have I'm going to build a rack that's angled. That's the same wood as this. I just haven't gotten around to that.
Yeah,
yet.
I like it. I actually, in my facility, I've got the same type of like an install rack that's on casters. I'm wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah,
so
build a nicer furniture unit.
And here's your pedal board.
Right, that's the current iteration. It's
nice.
Quite ridiculous. Those are the always-on things.
That's crazy.
So it's all amp profilers these days.
Okay, so my question is here in the studio.
Right.
Are you using mostly your hardware pieces, or do you use mostly software pieces?
All for guitar.
Yeah, for guitar.
Yeah, all hardware. I don't use any. I mean, you could argue that some of that is software. It's just in the box.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Whenever I can use real amps, I try to. I still have an AC30 and a Marshall type over there and a cab. But I have profiled those into these pedals, which are kind of like Kempers, just a lot smaller. And so live, I use just the board now. It has a DI and all that stuff.
Right,
on it.
gotcha.
But in the studio, if I can get away with amps. But yeah, none of the plugins quite sound right to me yet. And there's a difference between modeling and profiling. A lot of the models I don't like, but when I can profile my own amps, then I'm good. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm right there with you actually with that. Is this a 435?
Yep.
Listen, I love
from you.
I love that mic. I love that mic. I love that mic.
And some of them sound a little different. I have a pile of 6 or 7 of them, and so I drew their curves on here because this is the most flat one I have. There's one that has a severe mid bump. I mean, what do you want for $45?
Yeah. And, well, listen, I've recorded some acoustic guitar stuff and some vocal stuff that will scare you. So I mean, most people go, man, what's that mic? What's that mic? Yeah. And by the way, if you put this mic, if you put this 435
next to this.
Oh yeah. Is this a
47 clone?
Oh, it's a clone. I was going to say you have a real.
But it's got
47.
No, it's a Peluso clone called the Peluso 2247.
Gotcha.
And it's nice. It's a really great unit. The Warm Audio is kind of the newer version of it, but this is like 10 years old.
Right, but this mic isolator. This thing is incredible. I can't even get it all in the camera.
It's cheap.
That thing, it really does its job. You can tailor the room sound by that alone. You can make it sound like you're in a real small room, or just open it up to where you just get the room. But honestly, I like to get it isolated. Yeah. You can always simulate the room, you know.
Well, and this way I can run it. I can run it Omni. The mic in Omni and not get the proximity effect, so I can use Omni and not get a lot of
those are invaluable.
That's what I think.
Yeah, very cool. I love how you've got your guitar rack set up as well.
Yeah, it was kind of a temporary fix, but it kind of works. I mean, it keeps them locked, and
very
it just
cool.
works for some quick fix. But
Yeah, very, very nice.
When you can't go anywhere else, you go up. So
Yeah, yeah.
like a parking garage.
Yeah. Okay, is there any kind of story behind the suit?
Yeah, so I've written several songs for my wife. Her name is Harmony, and so I'm working on producing them as I get time to. And so part of the album artwork was me wearing that suit and the boots, and then I have an electric guitar that I also covered in hymnal paper.
Oh, nice.
And
yeah, that's awesome.
It was kind of fun.
Is that an Epiphone?
No, it's an airline guitar. It's like a 335, but it's got gold foil, and it can actually sound like a hollow body Strat because of the 3 pickups. So it's kind of a gnarly, cheap thing. But
it looks great.
I was like, might as well cover it in paper.
Right, that's pretty cool.
This thing is so stiff because it's Mod Podged to it, and it's supposed to be flexible Mod Podge, but it was the stiffest thing. I could hardly get it off.
That's pretty awesome, Alan.
EP coming soon.
Yeah, I love this. Oh, and is this the piano you had at the old house?
You know it. This has gone with me everywhere.
I just sold a 6D.
Really?
The Nord 6D. Yeah,
That's great.
I didn't really want to sell it, but I, obviously the organs are just scary good.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's almost nothing that comes close to it.
There isn't, even Hammond's own products.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And so, do you use this? Do you use the piano? I'm talking about the piano. Do you use it mostly just to play on or to record?
Some of both. So it's an incredible baby grand, but that being said, it has one sound. And right. If I need that big open sound of a baby grand, it's not super bright. It's pretty balanced, but it's still a big baby grand sound.
Right.
Then I'll mic it up with some ribbons normally right here, and get some room mics on it, and even a pedal mic to get the low.
Right, gotcha.
But normally I'm just using VIs if I need an upright or.
Well, you probably know this,
yeah,
but most people don't know how to mic a grand.
Right.
They don't know how to. They don't know where.
They put a mic like right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one little microphone. And that's it.
For me, just some ribbons to kind of harsh those transients or tame them, and then just putting it right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's just decoration. I
like it.
We had taken apart actually a different piano than the one that the table's made from for church when we built a shell, an upright shell for a keyboard. And so I was just like, I'll just make something out of it, and it has no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
It's a fun room.
Yeah, it's extremely comfortable.
Get pretty quiet.
Okay, so primarily, what type of music are you? Yeah, actually, that made a big difference.
Right.
Closing the door.
It's not bad.
What type of music are you recording in here?
Mostly church stuff. I got a couple clients right now that just CCM, kind of different ranges of that. Church music is ever expanding, which is awesome. But I'll do anything. I've done, I've done classical.
Don't say you'll do anything. That's a bad thing to say.
Somebody asked me.
I'll do anything.
Right. Somebody asked me one time, because I've never had a rap client. And I know you have. And somebody asked me one time what they would do, or what I would do if somebody came to me with rap. I was like, well, I wouldn't turn them away. I would be honest that I don't have much experience with that. Maybe get somebody to make beats, but hey, I can mix it. I can produce a vocal. I can, So.
Yeah, the last rap client I had, they were talking about going into Germantown and shooting up a bunch of white folks. And I'm like,
maybe I wouldn't.
You do know that I'm white, right? And and
I live in Germantown. No, that's right.
I don't live in Germantown, but I've driven through there a couple times. But yeah, I mean, and then we had another guy, Wes, did all the tracking for this guy. He had a song that was, or I shouldn't even say song. He had a track that was like, shoot him in the face with a 9mm, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want my legacy to be. Is that
your credits?
Like that's crazy.
Your favorite corner?
Yeah, that's
Have
pretty
you seen
crazy. I love it. So
this is the current series maple custom. It's called Absolute Hybrid Maple. It's all maple with a ply in the middle of wenge, which makes it just a tad tougher towards the recording custom birch side of things, but it still has that well-rounded, tad warmer side of maple. I got custom sizes ordered. I like, for this genre at least, I like the 2214 to give it a little less ring.
Right.
13.9, somewhat standard, and that's an 1816 because I think you can always tune them up. But I like to have the bigger range for some of the CCM stuff.
Gotcha.
And the big thing for me is bottom mics on toms. That really helps, especially on the floor. Get the low end correct without having to gate in weird ways.
So you're using the 58 on the top. Yeah, the Audix. I mean, basically that's
still your trick.
Yeah, that's man. I love those mics. And okay, so tell me real quick.
Yeah.
What are you using the Sennheiser here?
Yeah,
for?
that's I really despise these mics.
An ambient thing? Or?
No, actually, it captures pretty much just the shells. And what I normally do is I'll crush it with some distortion, with all buttons in 1176, whatever it is, to give it even just you barely mix it in to give the whole kit just a little bit of life that's different than verb, different than bus compression, different than whatever room, different than all that. Or sometimes I'll solo it and make like a little loop moment out of it, and then the drums come back. It's a real easy way to not have to retrack overdub drums, but just quickly solo it. Sounds terrible,
Yeah, you don't like that mic? Like
I hate it.
I've gotten some great tones with that thing on some stuff. I mean, mostly like I don't use it for vocals or anything like that, but I've used it mostly just on like a guitar thing.
I've heard it used for B3, like an actual Leslie before, and it sounds okay on that. But I'd rather have a 421. I'd rather have a 57.
I'd rather just use a Nord.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing that comes close to that. All right, so. And so you're using what 609s or
Beta 52? To me, it sounds like a kick drum.
What's
that is a 602.
602.
Yeah,
I said 609.
No, you're fine. And then there's another Beta over there under that one, just to keep them a little different sounding.
Gotcha.
And then I built this sub kick.
Nice.
It's a kid's drum.
Yeah, I see that. That's very cool.
And so that's where it would mount to the kick or whatever. Right. And then our Radio Shack speaker, and Mom knitted this.
I'm going to kind of educate some of the people that are going to listen.
Do it.
Okay, so headphones that have a speaker in it actually are just a transducer as a microphone, because the microphones have the same thing in it. So this just picks up the front head,
right,
and gives it a different, a much fatter type of a sound. Yeah, I like that. What'd you pay for that Radio Shack speaker?
Oh, like $8.
Oh, that's awesome. That's the way to go.
I got him to split up the kit, and the drum was $15.
That's awesome.
It was a college project.
That is so
Dad
cool.
helped me solder, and we drilled the hole for the jack. I normally put it in a bigger DI just to help the low end, and then Mom knitted the front head to give it that mesh look, and that's what we did that evening.
Are you running this through any type of like compression or?
Not normally compression on that individual channel. What I'll do is I'll filter it out to be a low pass filter, so it's capturing only the low end, because this is the main sound of the kick drum.
Right.
This gets a good bit more low end being on the outside. It doesn't have just attack, and so I'll filter it to get that. I'll normally put you could call it an exciter or a subharmonic, something. There's a couple plugins like Low Air or Submarine, or even UAD has one called Low Enhance, Precision Low, I think. Just to give it more, I'll use Pultec on it to warm it up, some tape maybe, because it doesn't have to be a harsh transient to give attack. It just has to have the after,
Exactly. So do you find any bleed over from?
Not once I filter it. Maybe a little bit from floor tom.
Right, gotcha.
But no.
Yeah, very nice. Alan, wow, that is as creative as it gets. That's
Thanks.
Very cool. Only you, buddy. That is awesome.
I'm normally using 414s as overheads. They're in a case right now to keep the dust out. And then I'll put fat heads up for room mics. And then I actually have some room mics in the living room as far rooms.
Right. Well, I can't get over your lighting configuration.
It's fun.
This is just so cool.
your favorite big cymbals here. This is a 26. I'm using mostly heartbeat stuff now. But
oh, yeah. Sounds good. Sounds real good.
Yep, I got some Istanbul and Zildjian for different flavors. Still got some A-Custom stuff. These are 68 Ludwigs, actual mahogany.
Oh, very nice.
And they're the same sizes as these. I found an 18-inch floor tom from the 60s. I don't know, and some guy was getting rid of them. They were all rusted out. So I got them for $800 and fixed them up. And now they have that old school. They're not nearly as strong sounding as the Yamahas, but for that old thing, beautiful. They
That's
can get
awesome.
Real low. Myriad of snare drums. This is a Risen Maple. It's now a company called Franklin. They rebranded. Classic Oak Custom 7. recording custom, the newer generation, so birch, and then a beach custom. You remember this series?
Oh yeah.
And it's a 14 by 7 in white marine pearl, and then this is a 14 by 8 black beauty, an actual black beauty,
man.
which I love.
The black beauties, I gotta tell you that.
Not a fan.
No, I'm a huge fan. Actually, I'm a huge fan of all Ludwig snares.
Yeah.
They just have a thing. Yeah, that's crazy. That sounds as fat as it gets.
But still,
just by itself,
yeah.
And the room sounds good too.
Right.
Man, that's great, Alan.
It's
I love
a fun
it.
time.
Okay, so tell me this real quick.
Yeah.
So, are you considering yourself to be a piano player, guitar player, drummer, engineer? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had to say I'm best at one thing, what would you say?
I would say call it producer, because nowadays producers are often instrumentalists of some kind.
Yeah.
And mainly the job of the producer is to see all the pieces connected, which is my passion. I'm not the best drummer, the best mix engineer, the best of any of those one pieces, but I've always loved, you know this, I've always loved all the pieces and how they work together.
Yeah.
So I think that's where producer fits in best. Even if I get another drummer and get another mix engineer, get another whatever, I can at least see the pieces work together.
Right.
And see the overall picture. But live, mostly I'm playing guitar and keys still. So drums is kind of on the back burner, except for studio work. I still love them.
Yeah.
It's really fun, but yeah.
Okay, so not to put you on the spot or anything, but do you have anything you can show? Like you can play something for me?
Probably not for YouTube. I can play it for you.
Okay.
But yeah, just for the respect of the clients.
Right. Gotcha. Do you have anything that just where maybe just a piece of something of yours we can play? I mean, obviously it's not going to come through the camera anyway. But
I haven't got anything of mine current enough to where I can kind of show it.
Okay, then I'll tell you what. I'm gonna shut this down.
Yeah.
And then you play for me.
Yeah, come on.
Sounds good. Okay, so Alan is showing me this guitar. This is called the Duesenberg.
They actually bought the brand from the old car company from the 20s or 50, whenever it was, and it's a German company that now has an American dealer. I actually bought this one straight from Germany because even with import fees, it's cheaper. Surprisingly enough.
and so I asked you this a second ago. So this sounds amazing, yes?
Yeah, to me it's got the grit of a Les Paul, but with a little bit more openness and clarity of like a Gretsch. But at the same time, it's just got its own thing. I mean, they rebranded the Bigsby, and it's a lot stronger and makes more sense how it works.
I love the design of it as well.
Yeah, they got binding in the F hole here, and the inlays are nice. This is kind of their flagship.
And they actually on this little pickguard thing made it design
looks like
similar
a car.
To the car, yeah.
And even this right here.
I love it.
Let me show you two others. I have three Duesenbergs because they're just the best.
So I need to ask, and you don't have to tell me, but what does a guitar like that go for?
That one, well, in America, if you buy it new, it's $3,800 right now.
Okay.
I got it for $2,500 from Germany new.
Gotcha.
Now there's an import fee for $100, something like that. But
that's all?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought it would have been more.
It took like a month, but this is a 25th anniversary model. There aren't many of these. It's got split pickups to where you can split them into single coils, but they sound better than any other split humbucker I've ever heard. It can actually sound like a Telly. So I think of this I think of this as my Duesenberg Telly. And this,
I love the headstock.
Yeah.
I love.
They know what they're doing.
Everything about. Are these stainless steel frets?
Yep.
They look it. Gosh, you can really tell the difference. Which, I got to be honest with you, I don't know why when you make a guitar why they don't just put stainless steel. Because then over time they end up, if you're using a nickel or whatever, I mean, they end up, you have to replace them, and you can only replace them so many times.
This was my first Duesenberg. I got this, 11 years ago now. It's a 335 size, and I found it at Groon in Nashville. And when I found it, I had always heard of Duesenbergs. Thought it was, this is really neat. Played it, loved it. Looked it up before I bought it. Couldn't find any information about this model. It's called the 440 Nashville Special. You see the Interstate 440 deal there. And it's got a piezo pickup in the bridge. Really interesting setup. And I bought it anyway because I was like, it's great. And I emailed Duesenberg about it and said, what is this? Because I can't find anything about it.
Right.
And the guy replied and literally said, oh crap. I'm like, what? And he said, in 2010, we made 3 of these. And they were all gifts to their endorsed players.
Oh.
And they had told me at Groon, that there was a Nashville session player who had gotten this. He brought it in.
Did they say who the player was?
Yeah, they did. It's Pat Buchanan.
Oh, wow.
And I showed them the serial number. They said, yeah, that's Pat's. And I was like, well, it's mine now. Vince Gill has another one because I found a picture of him with it. And one of my friends found out who the other one was. I can't remember, but it was another one of those A-list, session guys.
I recently saw a documentary or some type of post with Vince Gill where he showed his big lineup of guitars. Have you seen that?
Oh, something like it. Maybe not that.
He's
underrated, man.
Yeah, the whole room is nothing but guitars like on the wall. It's pretty amazing.
I built this.
You did, yourself?
Yeah,
really?
It used to be a Mexican telly, so all that's left of it is the body. I stripped it down of its finish. It was a sunburst telly.
I love what you did with the finish.
You probably remember the telly. I had a sunburst. It was sunburst and white.
I don't.
Anyway, I got a new neck for it. It's one-piece Wenge, so the fretboard's not separate. I did gold frets, and then.
How did you do this?
This is drum wrap.
Very nice.
It was supposed to be champagne sparkle, so a little less pink and a little more tan, like the old Gretches. But I like it anyway. I cut it out with a razor very carefully, and it's on with liquid cement. This pick guard I cut out of 1/8" birch with a bandsaw and made kind of a thin line look. This thing, you can put any of the 4 coils, because this is a humbucker, in or out of phase, combine, and then series or parallel for any of combinations. So it's like a total of 170-something pickup combinations.
Wow, that's incredible. So how does this sound?
It sounds okay. It's so complicated that I don't play it live because I can't remember which thing does what.
Right. Yeah. Well, but at 170-something different sounds, that's crazy.
It's the guitar I grab in the studio when I don't want it to sound like anything else. It can still sound like a guitar, but I think of it as my strange sounding guitar.
What do you run it through?
I mean, everything normal, it can just sound so out of whack
Gotcha.
that sometimes I'll just use it for those weird kind of broken sounds.
And I like weird. Anything different I like.
Chet Atkins Bigsby arm on it. These are all TV Jones pickups. So it was a fun build.
That's awesome.
Yeah, quite a unique. It's very heavy. I didn't account for the weight. Yeah, some fun guitars.
Wow, that's awesome.
One more acoustic to show you. Because it's the one worth showing. This is my my baby right here. Found this a week before COVID in Birmingham. This is a Breedlove Masterclass Cocobolo.
Oh wow, that is nice.
And so
that is really nice.
After Brazilian rosewood, which is the grandfather of all guitar woods, became endangered and illegal.
Yeah.
Companies started reaching for other woods that would do the same thing, same musical properties. And some people reached for Cocobolo, but companies like Taylor treated it the same way as Brazilian rosewood, but it's a totally different density. The sawdust is poisonous. There's things like that.
Right.
Kim Breedlove went from scratch and said, let's design a new approach for Cocobolo. And so I didn't know anything about it. Make sure it's in tune from the cold here. But I picked this thing up. When I test a guitar in the store, I play one chord and leave because I don't want to noodle. I'm not there to. I just want to hear the guitar.
Yeah.
And out of playing.
You mean not like the rest of the kids?
And after I played like 30-something guitars that day, this was the first one that I just can't explain it, but it made me want to play it again. That's
exactly the type of instrument that you want to keep. Ooh, the natural sound of it is nice.
Still a little.
Wow. Yeah. That's nice. Wow, the depth in the low end is incredible. And wow, that's nice.
One of those guitars that just makes you want to play, even if it's something simple. It can get so quiet while retaining its tone.
Ooh, that's nice.
Which I think is the ultimate sign of a good instrument.
Yes, exactly.
But then it can...
that's beautiful. I mean, it sounds incredible.
I don't play it live much, but in the studio,
Right.
with that mic in front of it, nothing better.
That's awesome.
Incredible piece.
A quick story. One time I was actually running sound at a high school, and they had a Yamaha I think it was like a G6.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, it was the G series,
Yeah.
and so and it was piano black finish, except it had white all over it. So some of the kids, you know how the kids are here in school, they ended up coming in and they obviously took a can of oil-based paint and just sprayed it all over this beautiful Yamaha G series piano. But anyway, I sat down to it anyway, and I started playing it. And I'm not, extremely proficient on keyboards, but I do enough to write.
Yeah.
And so, and that piano was like that guitar for you. It was like, it's the thing where you can't just walk by it.
Right.
You have to sit down and play every time you walk. And I tried to get them to sell it to me, and they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it?
Yeah. And I'm like, look, you can buy one that doesn't have oil-based paint all over it. I said, I don't care what it looks like if it sounds like this.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't sell it to me. So.
Have you seen? I thought of another toy you would like. Pardon my mess. Building some cables. Have you ever seen a bass cajon before?
I have not actually.
I figured you may have. So it's like a horn-loaded subwoofer where there's no hole in the back.
Oh yeah,
It's ported out the front. And this thing sounds like there's an active speaker on the inside of it. If I had a riser to set it on, it would be even better. But listen to this thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah. I hear the depth. Yeah, you feel it.
Right.
Yeah, you won't be able to feel it on the camera, but yeah. Here, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna try to
Get down there.
put the camera close to see. Maybe a little bit of it will pick up on the camera condenser. Yeah, that's cool.
It's like
that's very cool.
$150. It's got this nice handle in the back.
Yeah, I love it. I was actually considering going with PA Neil and getting an endorsement with them.
Yeah.
All my videos have Sabians in them.
Yeah.
And so I did some of those PA Meinl videos.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. But and I spoke to someone with the PA Meinl company, and they said, well, to get an endorsement with us, you have to play the cymbals, and I'm like, okay, well, send me some of the cymbals, and and I'll consider swapping over. I was a Sabian rep, but
Not anymore.
But then after not doing enough public performances and sort of being out of the limelight for a while, they didn't want to. They didn't want to continue the contract, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
So I still have Sabian,
Right.
but I just, I'm
Yeah.
not endorsing them anymore.
Meinl's incredible.
Yeah, I love their stuff. I love their
Yeah.
Byzance
Yeah,
cymbals.
it's amazing
They're
stuff.
incredible. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty good price point. Some of it's pretty durable if you take care of it.
So, all right, while I'm here, anything
Yeah.
else you want to show me
Man.
before I go into private mode here?
Yeah. Trying to think.
I love this. I love your place.
Thanks.
Serious, Alan. This is so creative, and not only that, but the room is set up like it's set up. I'm sort of in the backside of it, but the camera's not. I don't think the camera's picking it up like it's supposed to.
Here's some pics on the website.
That maybe that view is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the room size is like perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It would be the master bedroom of the plan, and I extended it about 5 feet that way. There's conduits under the ground, extra electrical in here. So I built this house in 2018. So it could be converted back into a master bedroom one day, which actually will happen soon. We're actually building.
Did
a
you
house.
build the house?
We're working on it. So the land is cleared.
Oh.
And,
but I mean, this house.
Yeah,
you did build this house.
I did.
So you're moving to another facility.
Yep. So we're building a barn dominium in Byhalia, actually. And
man, I've actually done some work at a couple barn dominiums lately, and how they are the coolest places in the world.
And so I'm going to build a 40 by 27 studio, a much bigger kind of double story. It has a view. We have 4 acres.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's going to be nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And where is it located?
It's at Red Banks Road and 269.
So you're going to be really close to me.
Yep. You know where Byhalia Creek Farms is?
Yeah.
It's off of that Davenport Road.
Well, we'll probably see a lot more of each other out there.
Come hang out.
We'll be like one exit away from each other. That's incredible.
There's going to be a guest suite in the. Let me find the pictures, my mock-ups here. Yeah, this is something to look forward to. Hopefully by the end of the year. I mean, it's a steel building.
Wow,
you know, it's
No, listen, I know exactly what barn dominiums are.
Yeah.
They're the business. I mean, yeah, and I've got a chiropractor friend of mine who has a barn dominium in Ringgold, Georgia.
Oh, really?
And he just built an addition for his tour bus.
Yeah.
And then the upstairs is like all living quarters and office spaces and stuff. So
steel.
It's incredible.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Well, the original barn dominium is steel, but then the addition is all wood based. But it's connected.
Right.
So
right.
That's
coming soon. Another space that'll have more of a video/audio feel because everything will be on wheels. And the studio will still be functional because the gear will be back here, so you can wheel all this out.
And let me guess, that spiral staircase you stole from your old house.
No, it'll be into a guest suite that can be locked off from the rest of the house.
That's the way to go.
Right.
All right. Well, look, when I lose my home, I'm hanging with you, buddy.
Right, come in the guest suite.
Make sure you put a little brother-in-law home in the bag, and I'm there.
It's got his bathroom. It's got all that.
That's awesome. That is incredible.
I can't think of anything else about in here unless you see any. I mean, I can talk for days about any of this, so you just tell me.
All right. Well, I'm going to sign off on this and we can go over some personal
NS10s,
stuff. Yeah, what
real ones and the sub.
Are you using those?
Yeah, they're on my B-Mix as on the monitor controller.
Oh, very nice.
This is a good thing to have for video. This is a trick I learned from a guy in Nashville who still mixes this way today. You can find his video on it. I interned with him, and he taught me that when you're getting tones right, like he has it right here in the good sounding speakers, the perfect scenario, and he'll crank it and get everything feeling right. He trusts his room, he trusts the low end, but when he's fader writing, when he's balancing, he puts it at a lower level, and he puts it on speakers that are over there, back and to the side, and not aimed at anything in particular, not the best sounding speakers, not treated well. And he actually distracts himself. He'll watch golf. He has another TV right here, and he'll hit go, and he'll ride the lead vocal while watching golf, listening to it over here at a low level, because he wants, if anything jumps out then, his brain will catch it because it's subconscious.
Right,
Sometimes he'll start up a conversation with someone at a low volume and just say, hey, so how's your day going? And he's riding the lead vocal.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so that's what I use those for.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, do you have those fused?
Yep, they are. It's behind to protect the tweeters.
I don't have mine fused, and I popped one of the high end drivers.
Classic.
Which is so typical. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, these are the NS10 monitor studio monitors. Oh,
you're fine. Yeah, I do it all the time.
I don't want to rip your drum head. All right, so. These NS10 speakers, they're industry standard still to this day. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, which they should. But do you know what they were originally designed for?
What wasn't it, like utility something?
Just like home bookshelf speakers.
Bookshelf speakers.
Yeah, they were just designed for just home listening, nothing.
Yeah.
And yet they became industry standard in every studio.
Now, speaking of monitors, I don't know. Have you seen this product yet? It's Slate VSX headphones. I just got them. If you don't know about this, it's kind of the current rage. What they are is pretty standard headphones. In fact, they're really, really flat and bland sounding. And what they've done here is, if I can find it, how do I spell VSX? Where did it go? Steven Slate. There it is. They've IR'd a bunch of pro studios, and they model them just like you have modeled mics,
Mm-hmm.
and they model the studio responses, and they're slightly different. And
Nice.
what they even model a car
For the headphones?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And what they do further than that is you can model, like they model 650s. I have those headphones sitting over there. They model AirPods. They model and a cell phone. And so the idea is that nothing will ever replace monitors. I'm not saying mix only on headphones.
Right.
What I am saying is when it comes to checking your low end, your room lies unless it's a $10,000 really nice, perfectly treated room. Yeah. This room lies. It has a tons of peaks and valleys. 110 is terrible in here. Right. 92 something's terrible. But this, I'll check my low end and my phases and my floor tom and kick and my bass, all that kind of stuff here, and even just check my balance instead of going out to the car. I'll do the car check here. You know, instead of going to another room in the house, I'll go to another room here.
That's almost invaluable.
And
I mean,
apparently,
that is incredible. I used to go out to the car all the time.
Me too. And apparently, judging from Stephen Slate's reviews on this thing, people are starting to mix like #1 hits on these things.
On the headphones.
And even those that have, I mean, this is Howie Weinberg's mastering studio.
Right.
You know, even those that have this, and you have near fields, you have all the options. You even control the depth of how far you're sitting from the speakers. And so I was a little skeptical. Everybody's skeptical at first. That's what all the reviews say. I didn't think this was worth it. It's all the old guys saying like, no, I'm the headphones, you know. But man, I tried this thing. They're $300.
Wow.
It's the same price.
Really?
Yeah, $300.
Wow, that's incredible.
So
that
VSX.
That's something I'm gonna have to look into getting very,
I figured
very
you'd
soon.
like that.
Wow.
These are the HS8s. Those are Yamaha's new.
That's actually what I had in my studio in Memphis before they broke in and stole everything.
The sub that goes with them. They're not NS10s at all. They look like them, but they're very different.
Yeah,
they're not great, but I know them, and that's what I tell a lot of people: is stop changing monitors. That's
exactly what everyone used to come in. They say, "Well, there's no NS10s." I said, yes, but I know these these speakers, and literally when you've gone out to the car enough times, and
you know them.
and you've listened to the mix in different places,
So I don't feel a need to buy these really nice, investment speakers, as people are calling them now. So that's just everything's off of a MacBook. That's the one more piece to mention. All this is run off of a MacBook Pro, Apple Silicon M2 Max.
I mean, Alan, this is a great setup. This is it. Just honestly, you couldn't do better than this
for a home studio. It's been a fun one to build.
Yeah, and of course, with technology the way it is now, and what what you have here, there's nothing you couldn't do.
Right.
I mean, you could record any album on that. Nobody, I mean, that is just as good as $3 million studio.
Yeah,
So.
I've tracked choir in the other room to get a live sound. I've tracked string quartets in here, right here.
Oh, nice, very
I've done
nice.
It all. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It can do it. Thanks
that is the beauty of modern technology. The things that we can do now that we couldn't do before.
Right.
And then, of course, and then the final product always depends on the ear. So, but
that's right.
But yeah,
Thanks,
that's incredible. Well, man,
I learned a lot of it from you. So.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks, Alan, for showing everybody this great facility.
Novelrecording.co is where you can find out more on our website.
Novelrecording.co.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested in checking this facility out or any type of audio recording, that's where you go to. Novelrecording.co. All right, thanks again, Alan.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign off, and we'll go over some personal stuff. All right. Adios. Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one last question for Alan before we completely sign off. All right, so I just asked him what he prefers recording on and why. So he has Logic and obviously, he just finished explaining that he's running everything through the Mac Pro, but he also has Pro Tools. And is it just Logic and Pro Tools? Anything else?
Ableton for live stuff,
and Ableton.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, what is your preference?
Yeah. So, for me now, Logic and Pro Tools essentially can both do it all. They didn't used to be that way. Logic started as basically a computer replacement for the rack MIDI gear. So it's basically a computer replacement for digital instruments that existed in the 80s. Pro Tools were started as a computer replacement for the tape machine.
Correct.
And so both have had their strengths, and then slowly Logic started adding stuff that was routing and console and studio and mixing able, and then Pro Tools slowly started adding MIDI and instrument and producing side of things able. And now they both do pretty much all of it, but you still occasionally feel the strengths of one or the other. So for me, when it comes to producing anything creative, crafting sounds, MIDI things, down to things like quantizing drums or tuning vocals, even comping vocals, comping any takes, all those producing tasks are much faster, much more musical in Logic because it feels like an instrument.
Right.
Now, when it comes to mixing and keyboard shortcuts and routing and just kind of the speed of how the software works, for me, Pro Tools is still a bit faster when I start using outboard gear and when I start summing and mixing through my summing and printing stuff through pedals and whatever else it is. So occasionally, when I'm done producing, I'll bounce to Pro Tools and mix from in there. Sometimes I don't because it takes time to do that. There's still no great way to do it that's quick. So sometimes I end up just staying in Logic. But if it's a project that I don't produce and just mix, then sometimes I'll just go ahead and start it in Pro Tools.
Right.
MTSU, where I went to school, was a Pro Tools only school, and so I learned a lot of keyboard shortcuts, got super quick at it in school, and so for that reason it still feels more like home, but it just doesn't feel creative. Beat Detective feels like Pac-Man from the 80s compared to quantizing in Logic. So that's an example of how it's just better, I think. They sound the same to me. Some people talk about how they sound different. I don't know about that. One good thing about Logic too is it's a lot cheaper. You pay $200 once for it, and it upgrades. It's Apple, so it upgrades with all the OS updates. Where Pro Tools is consistently a year behind, consistently having problems, and it crashes.
Yeah.
They can't figure it out. They always copy things, and like Logic had freeze files way before Pro Tools had freeze files, and that's huge when I'm working on a track that has 200 something tracks on it,
right?
Because of modern production needs. So now Pro Tools has that, but again, they're like a year behind, if not more. So for me, that's the difference. Logic is for producing, Pro Tools is for mixing and routing, and Ableton is for live use because it works really well with speed of playback and talking to other apps that you would use live. So I'll play back live tracks, click guide, all that stuff.
Now I know you've checked out other stuff as well.
Yeah.
A lot of like guys. Lots of times they get a free version of
Cubase
or something.
One
right.
Yeah, right.
What would you tell people about that?
I would say anything that you find that you like.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I have a producer friend in Nashville that even though all his peers are Logic, Christian music,
right.
He's in Cubase,
and
he loves it. And it's on a Mac. It's not, some people like PCs even. I have another friend that we worked with there, and he's like an old school Sunhouse Blues type player. And his engineer, who's also in that vibe, they have tons of outboard gear. You think it's this old school, like you would think they wouldn't even have a computer, barely. They have tape. It's that kind of place, that kind of vibe. And they're using Ableton for all their tracking. And I'm like, that's as modern as you could get. So, I think just wherever you feel comfortable. For me, that's probably Logic right now.
Okay, one other question.
Yeah.
So, have you checked out the new Cakewalk sound?
I have not. Is it on Mac?
Yeah. Oh wait, no. I take that back. It's only on PC.
Sonar was PC only.
They may. Oh, you know what? I think there's a hack, some kind of crack where you can use it, but
Rosetta.
But that's just bizarre. Now, that BandLab. I mean, it's amazing.
Is it cool?
I mean, what's really amazing is that it's free.
Really?
Yeah, it's free. People can actually just go on, download a version of it, and it has tons of instrumentation in it. It's like all you need is a controller and a powerful enough
brain.
Yeah, exactly. And technology's just come so far. But listen, I'm kind of with you. As far as like I do most of my stuff in Pro Tools.
Right.
because I do have Logic.
Yeah.
But mostly because of you.
Right, sure.
Because you were telling me how cool it was. But I'm so proficient in Pro Tools that I just use it, and that's all I'm doing right now. Is I'm not doing like tons of production or just pre-production. I'm just doing mostly just some basic tracking, and so Pro Tools that's where it is. But I'll probably sometime in the near future have a bunch more questions for you about Logic. So
I still pay the yearly Pro Tools fee.
By the way, do you know what version are you using of Pro Tools?
Whatever's current.
Do you know that they're going back to not doing it yearly?
Really?
They're going. Yeah. Now this is according to Joey.
Yeah.
And I don't know that for a fact, but he said that they're changing it back to where you don't have to pay the yearly subscription.
Perpetual instead of annual. Yeah.
Which I think is ridiculous. When you buy it, you buy it, you know.
Well, Waves tried, did you see that whole Waves thing? They went to subscription model and made everybody mad. And so then like 2 days later they said, all right, we're going back.
Oh, okay. Well, good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got back from the Philippines and I had all kinds of problems with my Pro Tools system.
It's like it died overnight or something.
It worked, right? Like perfect. It booted up perfect, but it had been sitting for a while, and so I think I unplugged the USB cable while it was on, and then all of a sudden it corrupted like something in the registry of the hard drive, and it took me like 4 months to get it back up and running. And you know what I did? You know what I did? What? I said, forget this.
Yeah.
I found somebody that basically just sent me. I bought a hard drive with the version of Pro Tools I needed, and it booted right up. But I left the other drive in for all of the software, but all of the plugins and everything. And it was like, and now that's what I'm using.
It works. Hey, it's probably faster too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I upgraded. I upgraded the RAM, and that's all I did. But I mean. But obviously Logic is something that I'll start digging into a lot more. But
it works with Apple Silicon well too, because we're on non-Intel chips now. That's how all the new Macs are being made, and they're really, really fast. And the fan, I don't know if I've ever heard the fans come on that thing.
Oh wow!
Ever. And so it's really fast. And again, Pro Tools took forever to get silicone compatible. So
right.
It's Logic for me.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank Alan again. Thanks. We'll probably post this on maybe even a separate video. So
whatever works.
All right, thanks again, Alan.
Yeah,
all right, we're signing off. Cheers.